Starting with the blank page, except for the title, Superstitioneers by Wilburn. So let's see if we can make something out of this. Got several notes on this that I may or may not use them all, but we'll use them for reference if we need them. All right. Raven held onto the chain link barrier around the outside of the Bat Attitudes dugout. As the team approached in their purple and white uniforms. All right, let me fix white real quick here. In their purple and white uniforms, they still had dirt stains from the previous day's spectacular loss. The hitmen, as the opposing team called themselves, had immaculate black and white uniforms with red slashes cutting diagonally over the fronts and backs of their jerseys. The slashing lines were uneven, as if they... Let me make this a new paragraph where we're talking about the hitmen. Alright. Uneven, as if they were meant to really invoke the image of blood. That's not what baseball is about, Raven said as her gossamer wings fluttered in a blur. She especially did not like that the hitman walked with their heads up, and her team shuffled through the infield dirt, staring at their feet. Okay. I used to be in the majors, Raven said. Did I ever tell you that? Another fairy sitting on the shelf behind the long dugout bench folded, okay, I don't need a comma there, hold on, I'm sorry, folded his arms over his knees and said a few times, "You've mentioned it Yes. Raven groaned. Every one of these kids just stepped on the chalk lines. They're all doing it like it's on purpose. It's like they want to lose. Do they not understand the magic behind this game? Probably not. Salt. Okay. I'm gonna have her use his name. Salt. Probably not. Salt said from the shelf. I worked with the best in the majors, she said. I was partnered. Oh, I'm sorry. I was partnered with Rally Hat, Chalkline, Point Skyward, and even Lucky. Let's make that an I. I'm trying to spell these things differently so they look like fairy names. Lucky Bat in his prime. Now I'm here in Little League. And these guys don't even want to win. They want to, Salt said, as the boys entered the dugout without noticing the fairies, noticing their fairies. Alright, there we go. And I misspelled fairies. If that's what this is about, then we should, come on, man. Alright. There we go. Alright. Put a comma, keep going with this dialogue. Alright, they want to, Salt said, as the boys entered the dugout without noticing their fairies. And it's youth junior division. Raven turned to face her partner. Alright, let me spell Raven right. Raven turned to face her partner as she hovered next to the fence. What's the difference? They're a little older, he said. I can't believe I got demoted. This isn't a demotion, he said. We are put where our talents are best used. And the most talented are in the majors. She turned in the air to face the field. Chalk line got demoted too, but he's at least still in the farm league. Where is he? Salt asked. The bat attitudes first hitter moved to the plate as the black uniforms of the opponents spread out into their positions. All right. Okay. Spread out into their positions. The bat attitudes. All right. The next batter stepped into the on-deck circle. He sort of leaned on his bat instead of warming up. Coach clapped his hands a couple times, but seemed as low energy as the kids in the dugout. All right. Raven said he ended up with the jumbo shrimp. In Jacksonville, Salt said. That's a great minor league team. They do awesome stuff for their fans. Raven sighed. And we're... Okay, hold on. Let me start a dialogue here. And we're... We're what, Raven? How many fairies... I'm sorry. How many fairies do you see in that dugout? Salt got his wings going and flew up beside her. I can't tell. Their team is on the field. They should be too. They watched a moment as the first strike was thrown. The kid in purple didn't even lift his bat from his shoulder. A couple fairies flew out toward the outfield. There they are, he said. She held up one of the 4 fingers on her left hand. Wait. Another came out, and there seemed to be yet another still fluttering around. 4 fairies for one team. 4 fairies for one team in the youth junior. Salt said. Weird, huh? Suspicious, even. Do you know them? Raven pointed around the field as their kid fouled for his second strike. All right, let me get her going here. We got to get into some action here in a minute. That's mirror. On the other side is umbrella. And horse shoe. What about, okay. What about the 4th? Salt asked. They waited, and they waited through a strikeout and a ground out before the last opposing fairy moved into the sun. He had a thick, gray, scraggly beard and twisted horns. One of his wings was bent. Okay, hold on, sorry. Got a little correction there. One of his wings was bent, causing him to lilt from side to side as he flew toward home plate. Okay, let me fix one more thing up here. Sorry, I'm hitting a bunch of typos today for some reason. Try to clear a few of them so it's not so much work tomorrow. Okay. Alright, looking good. Let's keep it moving here. Flew toward home plate. She showed her bright teeth and growled. That is Billy Goat. The Billy Goat. No one else will ever use that name again. So, yes, the Billy Goat. I thought he was still in retraining. Suspended? Yeah, right. Bad pennies like him never stay put. Maybe he's learned his lesson. Maybe he's learned his lesson, Salt said. Raven snorted. Raven snorted and spit through the fence. He'll never learn. Salt shrugged. Raven took that as dismissal, so she pressed her case. What's he doing behind home plate if he's learned his lesson? He could be encouraging their catcher. Encouraging. Raven literally scoffed out loud. He doesn't know the word. Billy Goat finished digging around the pouch on his side. He threw a handful of pixie dust that should have fallen like chalk through the air. Instead, it somehow looked green and slimy as it fell heavy with a magical splash. The umpire made a terrible call. The Bat Attitude's bleachers roared with disapproval. All right. Come on, Blue. One father yelled, as if he were in physical pain. Come on, Blue, one father yelled, as if he were in physical pain. The Bat Attitude coach simply rolled his eyes, clapped, and said, "Get on out there, boys. Remember your fundamentals." "I told you," Raven said. "Curses?" Salt shook his head with his tiny jaw hanging open. Who would waste curses in a junior youth league game? "Billy Goat," she answered. "It's all he knows." The four fairies for the hitman stayed on the field during the exchange. "What are they doing?" Salt asked. "Getting ready to curse our team." Salt scoffed now. "Why?" "Our team hasn't won a game yet. Their coach has all the charisma of a bloated toad under a sleeping spell. Their coach has all the charisma of a bloated toad under a sleeping spell. They could win fair and square. Billy Goat cheats because that's what he lives for. Salt groaned. This is going to be a bad day. Salt groaned. This is going to be a bad day. Raven took her partner by the arms. Help me. What? Help me beat them. It's not supposed to be about us, he said. It's about the game. She shook him and said, how can it be if Billy Goat is throwing curses during the first half inning? He thought and then said, okay, I'm in. What do we need to do? She flew out of the dugout and he followed. Raven said, we counter their every move. Anything they spend magic on is going to cost them today. Our team may still lose, Salt said. They probably will. Still, Billy Goat needs to be put in his place. Salt nodded and asked, okay, what's first? Go distract the others in the outfield as I deal with him. Salt flew out and Billy Goat turned toward Raven with a crooked grin. On the way down, are you? She smiled back, but was sure it didn't look natural. Up to your old tricks. Some of us care about winning, he said, and the rest of us care about this game. He sneered and shouted time. What? He called louder. Time. One of the... Okay, no, there wouldn't be a bunch of umpires in this game. The umpire called a balk. Raven looked around. She saw the pitcher. Raven looked around. She saw the pitcher looking about in confusion. Did he hear you? Did he hear you? She asked. Thought he heard something, didn't he? Thought he heard something, didn't he? Okay. Billy Goat cackled. All right. Why do you feel you need to cheat in this game? He shrugged. You don't care about winning. You don't care about winning. So head back to the dugout with your deadbeat coach. You'll be blessing T-ball next week. Billy Goat threw some more of his putrid pixie dust. The catcher lost one in the dirt. And the runner advanced to second. All right. The one thing I don't want to do with this story is do a play-by-play of an entire game. So I want to kind of get into some action going that doesn't require us to track, like a box score from inning to inning. All right. Salt flew back in, and Raven met him on the first base line. First base line. Okay. He huffed and puffed. They're distracting me. There's just too many of them. And they're working with Billy Goat because he promised to get them back to the majors. Because he promised to get them back to the majors with him. All right. Raven sighed. I know the feeling. We're just outmatched. Then we have to be smart. The next batter bunted. Raven threw her through her sparkling pixie dust on the catcher and pitcher. Okay, let me make this one section because she's going to talk again. So that'll work. All right. Threw her sparkling pixie dust on the catcher and pitcher. Go help the first baseman. Go help. No, she's going to say go help the third baseman. Third? Just do it. Salt flew. The pitcher held up, and the catcher threw for third without hesitation. Salt panicked and spilled more chalky magic dust on third. Then he meant to, but it did the trick. The runner tried to hold up, but third threw it to the pitcher, who tagged the runner and then threw for first in a spinning jump. The first baseman was shocked, and the hitter, who had been jogging at best, tried to pick up speed. He was out by a step. Everyone was silent for a long moment. the kids in purple seemed to be having out of body experiences. Did they just turn a double play on the hitman on a bunt to advance a runner from second to third? Okay, let me put a question mark there. They never even practiced such a play. All right. They never even practiced such a play. The bat attitudes bleachers erupted into rare cheers. Even the coach seemed to wake up a little. All right. Billy Goat growled from home. You cheated, you big cheaters. How did you know the runner? Okay, how did you know the hitter was going to dog it that bad? Salt asked as they met in front of the mound. Billy Goat has already cursed home plate twice in the same inning, she said. That comes with a price. The smiling pitcher threw the ball between their team fairies without even seeing them. The ball was hit deep, and the fielders stopped short, expecting the other to say each expecting the other to get it. The ball was hit deep and the fielder stopped short, each expecting the other to get it. It dropped in for a hit, and the runner took extra bases. Did they curse our fielders? She narrowed her eyes at the... Hold on, I need to capitalize this, sorry. She narrowed her eyes at the other fae about the field. No, Salt said. They do that a lot. They need to work on it in practice. Okay. My watch is bothering me a little bit, I'm sorry. Alright, they need to work on it in practice. Raven rolled her eyes. They threw charms and counter curses. Let me put a dash there. Counter curses at each other throughout the bottom half of the first inning. The hitman got 3 runs before the bat attitudes could find a final out on a nearly bobbled grounder. The following innings, okay, let me keep it. The early innings were a pitched battle between the two magical sides. All right, the early innings were a pitched battle between the two magical sides. To the humans, who knew nothing of the... Oh, let me not say that. Who knew only so much about the magic behind this game, saw a game filled with errors and lucky breaks on both sides. Billy Goat's crew threw so many curses that the field was splotched everywhere with patches of bad luck. Half the time, Raven and Salt just did their best to guide their players around the dark spots. By the fifth inning, it was 9-4 in favor of the hitman. Okay, let me keep this the same paragraph. Raven and Salt sat in the dirt, only flying when they had to, in order to conserve energy. Salt turned 2 of his pouches inside out, except for a few sparkles from the last few grains of magic stuck on the inside. He was empty. I got nothing left. Raven. We can't keep up with 4 of them. And they came packing like this was Game 7 in the World Series. Billy Goat cackled from the shadows of bad luck around the shortstop. You should always come with a winning attitude. You pair of loser mosquitoes. He really burns me, Raven muttered. We've done the best we can, Salt said. We've done the best we can, Salt said. We'll just have to try again. No, let's not say that. That has to mean something. Behind them, the Bat Attitudes coach laughed and clapped his hands. You guys are playing great. Real hustle out there. Keep it up. No matter how this game turns out, keep it up. A few of the parents clapped as the boys switched out for the 6th inning. A few more heads lifted high. Boys in purple uniforms smiled wide. What woke him up all of a sudden? Raven asked. Salt sighed and rubbed his weary eyes as he said, "It has been kind of an exciting game. Our guys are playing hard." Raven fluttered her wings in a blur and rose off the plate. Raven fluttered her wings in a blur and rose off the plate. Okay. She watched as the boys in purple patted each other on the back, and a few turned their caps inside out for luck. You still have your wand charged? Raven asked. Salt blinked a couple times and felt around his jacket. When he rose into the air beside her, he held out the bright, sparkling wand. I do, but it will discharge fast if we're trying to counter all of Billy Goat's curses. Alright, this is turning out better than I expected. I kind of like how this baseball fairy story is going. We won't, Raven said. What do you want to do with the wands then? He asked. Are we just showing them off? Encouragement, she said. Salt thought, no, I can't do what he's thinking. That I haven't gone into his head yet. Salt turned to her with a look that said he was sure he misheard her. Did you say? I did, Salt. The wands are best used for encouragement, and that seems to be lifting up our team more than any other magic we've used today. Look how much they brightened with just a little encouragement even though they are down by 5. Even though they are down by 5 runs. Let's try it out and see. As the game progressed, Billy Goat and his fairy squad continued their dirty tricks. Lots of dropped balls and catches and misses due to sun in the eyes. But the bat attitudes got vocal in the field. The hitman growled back with trash talk. They were in a foul mood for a team that was winning, but didn't understand the curses were eating away at the light in their souls. Nothing that a milkshake after the game couldn't fix. But they were not themselves now. The bat attitudes were unfazed. Is that right? I just end up trying to spell that with a PH. It's a different word though. The bad attitudes were unfazed. They rallied from bad plays. They stretched and ran hard. They played above their abilities by quite a ways. The hitman's parents argued calls and hit the fence. It wasn't curses. It wasn't curses in their case. They just had bad attitudes. The bat attitudes, parents stayed on their feet for most of the final inning. Alright, now I gotta remember when they batted. Our guys batted first, so they would be first in the ninth inning. Top of the ninth came with the hitman. Okay, I need to capitalize that. The hitman leading 14-0. to 8. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. Salt whispered. But I can't believe it is even this close. Raven smiled. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. But let's leave it all on the field. The bats were alive. Billy Goat cursed home plate until it was a dark void only the humans could still see through. Still, the bats of the encouraged and energized bat attitudes were on fire. Extra base hits, RBI singles, advancing on dropped throws. Cheering each other home. On the final hit, the runner on third waited. As soon as the hitmans, I don't want to capitalize the whole word. Hold on. As soon as the hitman's center fielder's glove popped with the catch, the smallest player in purple charged for home. All right, let me do a new paragraph here. We're in the most exciting part of this game. The catcher stepped out in front of the plate and offered the fielder an open target. The center fielder had caught the ball in a bright corridor between, all right, hold on, let me fix this word. In a bright corridor between patches of bad luck, of lingering lingering bad luck. He fired the throw home. He fired the throw home. He fired the throw home with strength and accuracy worthy of the majors. None of the fairies on either side could take credit for that. Alright, let me fix fairies real quick. Alright, we are in the home stretch, if you'll excuse the pun. Alright. The throw was on time and on target. The small boy pulled up and then slid under the tag like a pro. The catcher was caught off guard. He swung his glove lower as the boy in dirty purple extended his foot into the plate. Out, the umpire called. Game. Everyone froze a moment. Oh well, Raven said, if only his legs were a few inches longer. No cheers rose from the okay, I don't need a quotation mark there, sorry. Got so much dialogue going here, I'm trying to put quotations around every paragraph. Cheers rose from the hitman side of the field. It was a hard-earned victory, and they looked weary in their celebration. The Bat Attitudes coach hollered, "No hanging heads today. You are a team of heroes. No one else in the league put up nearly that much fight against the hitman. You are stars. I've never seen better, harder, more heroic play in my life. This is my proudest moment as a coach. The parents behind the purple team's dugout stood and cheered their boys with a final score of 14-13. The teams passed one another and slapped hands with respect on their faces. When they went through the ritual of parroting good game over and over, it almost sounded like they really meant it. You lost. Billy Goat croaked from his back. Alright, croaked. Let me make sure I spelled that right. Croaked from his back in the infield dirt with dust from the slide still swirling around his face and beard. You lost. He closed his eyes and struggled for breath. A couple more of his wings looked bent, working in curses came at a cost. Raven mumbled, "Yeah, congratulations." Salt shook his head. "I'm glad we don't play this field again this season. It might be into the playoffs before all this bad luck clears up." Raven rolled her eyes. "That's not going to be great for the Hitmen when they play home games." The other three fairies lined up in front of Raven and Salt. Mirror said, "Good game. I've never seen anything like it." Umbrella glanced at Billy Goat on the ground and said quietly, "Listen, I'm sorry, you guys. I got caught up in all this, and I'm not proud of how we acted. You guys are fighters. Your team will never forget this day." Horseshoe would not meet Raven or Salt's eyes. Yeah, I'm sorry too. I'm going to request a transfer at the end of the season. What about you, Raven? Still going for the big leagues? Still going for the big leagues again? Raven looked at Salt and smiled. She watched the boys in purple talking excitedly with their families. Dads shook hands with the coach with smiles across their faces. Okay, let me split this one word up, and we're almost done here. Raven said, "I might see how things play out. I think I have a lot I could learn from here." Billy Goat coughed up green dust that settled in his beard like a rotten spill. You lost the game, you losers. The other fairies left Billy Goat in the dust of the empty field without responding to his taunts.